welcome back to Detroit in Black and White. This is our Wednesday edition. I'm Adolph Mongo. Seems like I've been gone forever. I'm back. And joining me tonight, Allan Lengel, co-founder of Deadline Detroit. How you doing, Allan?
I'm good. Good evening.
Jim Nardone, our resident law enforcement expert. How you doing, Jim?
Former Good evening. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Clinton. Eric Brown, an advocate for literacy. Somebody asked me, said, can Eric read? He keep talking about literacy and stuff. I said, yeah, he can read. He's well read. How you doing, Eric?
I'm all right. Tell them to ask me themselves.
They scared of you, Eric. They're not going to ask you. And here's Vanessa Moss, attorney Vanessa Moss. How you doing?
Wonderful. Good evening to our Detroit in Black and White viewers. If you are watching Detroit in Black and White, we want you to hit that like button. We want you to subscribe. We want you to tell your friends, but hit that like button. I want to give a shout out to Queen B. She said, hey, y'all, Kendra Joyce is joining us from Columbus, Ohio. I'm sorry.
Look at Queen B's comment.
But yes, if you're watching Detroit Black and White, hit that like button,
Okay. You know what? James Craig, former police chief, joined 9, 10, 11 hopefuls that's running to
I think it's 9 now.
Replace Mike Duggan. He says, and I think it's legitimate, he says that if elected, he has a pipeline to the White House. He can talk to the president. He will take his calls. He has a good relationship with him. Will that get him some votes here in Detroit, Vanessa?
Listen, I think that Chief Craig does have some people that would support him. But I just can't get that vision out of my head of him standing at Belle Isle when he was making his announcement for his bid to run for governor. And he ran off the very island in the city of Detroit. He ran away from these voters. So, I mean, it's hard for me to take him seriously. But I do know that he does have people that support him. If I was in the race, I would ask somebody to run a commercial. And all you have to do is run that commercial with him running away from the constituents.
Well, I think people have short memories. Eric, do we have, with his communications with Trump, does that turn into some support here in Detroit?
I mean, probably not. I mean, it's a good angle that he's using, without a doubt. But at the end of the day, a lot of it will be dependent upon between now and August the 4th as it relates to the state of the economy, the state of America, and the state of Detroit. So he would be able to use it based on how well things are going. If things are going bad, he'd be better off saying that he has a direct line to Biden, because if he called Biden, Biden won't pick up the phone.
Well, it shows, Allan, Craig, if he's going to become a serious contender, do he bring in Trump to campaign for him here in Detroit?
I think that people are tired of, I think they're already exhausted from Trump with the tariffs and everything like that. I don't know how much of a plus. I don't think Trump is, there was a poll, and take it for what it's worth, it's a poll. But Ed Sarpolis just took a poll and asked people who they would vote for now. And 74% of the independents changed and said they'd vote for Kamala.
Kind of late. Who gives a fuck?
Man? Who gives a fuck? I mean,
let me just say something. I'm just trying to explain in the context of it. I'm not sure if maybe his popularity was back then in November. I think currently it depends. I don't know. Right now it's a shit show. I mean, it's chaotic. The tariffs. We're at war with Canada. Our buddies. I mean, I don't know. You know, I mean, Craig's going to get some people who like that he was a police chief. Some people like him, but I don't know. You know, I don't think Trump is going to be a big plus for him.
Jim.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Hi, Howard. Howard, Day, Queen Bee, Duelia, Terry, somebody else, Felicia. Hi,
Felicia.
Duela.
Day.
Kenneth Joyce from Columbus. Everybody, welcome to the show. He cannot win. No, he cannot win. So 20,000 people in Detroit, I think, voted for Donald Trump. They made it into a big deal. It's just 20,000 people. And as Eric would say, you know, we only get 20 or 30 or 30% voting, 26%, 16%, whatever the number is. But 20,000 votes are not going to decide this election, is my answer.
So is he wasting his time? Is he a spoiler?
I'm more worried about him getting carjacked. So I was going to see if he needed a bodyguard. And maybe I could do some work for him. Remember when he got almost carjacked and called for help? I want to prevent that need for help in the city of Detroit. I want to personally be his bodyguard.
Well, let me ask you, I have a question about that. You as a police officer, if you were getting you as a chief, you're driving somewhere, you've got a gun, and someone approaches and you think they're going to...
Did he have a gun?
No, he didn't have a gun.
He didn't have a gun.
You sure he didn't have a gun?
No.
Would you as
he wasn't certified?
Right.
Yeah, you can still carry a gun, though. I mean,
but he didn't have a gun.
He didn't.
Okay. All right. So I guess, can you blame him for taking off, or what do you say, Jim, as a police officer?
No, in a weekend, he could have taken a class and become a certified police officer, but he was too important at the time to do it. I get it. You do not have to be certified to be a police chief. And you can, in most places, you can carry a gun, but, you know, you can't go out there in a uniform being a cop without having the credentials. And he really didn't have the credentials. And whether he planned on getting them when he was questioned on it, he just never followed through on it, which is a disappointment to me, because I think every cop, whether you just walked out of the academy yesterday or you've been in Los Angeles and you've been in Detroit, you should be certified to be a police officer.
Well, I was in a city where Craig was the police chief at one time, Portland, Maine.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to figure that one out. How in the hell he went from L.A. to Portland, Maine? Anybody else ever been to Portland, Maine?
I have not.
I have not.
Beautiful city, but it's not. But it wouldn't. I'm surprised that
What?
you know they pick a person like Craig to become the police chief.
I think it's typical of a big city department. You're not at the top, and you get the opportunity to be chief of a smaller community. I think it's pretty common.
Like Andy Mayberry.
Yeah.
You think he can go to
Not that small.
Mayberry and be the sheriff?
With Opie?
Yeah, well,
You're not talking about Trent now, are you?
well, that too. You know.
So back to the chief. He was acting as when you do that, you're acting as a private citizen if you're not a certified police officer. Just because he was a chief, he was not certified to enforce the law in Michigan. So
well, you know, Detroit had a police commissioner that used to be a newspaper reporter in the 60s, Ray Girardin. We done had police commissioners that had no law enforcement background. You're right. You don't have to be an ex-cop or whatever. I can become the police chief. You know, it's an administrative job, basically. You know, so you don't need to carry a gun. Jerry Oliver proved that you don't need a gun.
not at the airport, at least.
Yeah, well, yeah, no question. But let's stand with Trump. He just appointed 2 Muslim mayors from Detroit, Metro Detroit, who supported him. One from Hamtramck, and the other one from Dearborn Heights. One is going to be the designated ambassador to Kuwait, and the other one to
Tunisia.
Allan Did they deserve?
Well, they were certainly showed loyalty. I mean, I knew the mayor of Hamtramck a little bit through a piece I did in the Washington Post on him. He was in favor of banning the gay pride flag, and he felt that he got some pushback from like Dana Nessel and all these liberal Democrats, which he's a Democrat, and so he had like Michael Flynn come to town. And he had these people who are more socially conservative, or some might say bigoted, depending on how you want to look at it. But, the thing that bothers me about him is that, and I had discussions with him about this, where he says, look, this is democracy. We voted for that. But there's a democracy where minorities also have rights. And I think you have to balance that between denying people rights and deciding that you're the majority, so anything goes.
Yeah, they cried in Hamtramck when people complained about them or called a prayer.
Called a prayer.
Yeah, and they saying, "Oh, you're discriminating against us because we're Muslim, etc." But yet, when they take control, they like, "Fuck everything. We in control, and we're gonna do what we want to do."
There's religious slaughter in the backyard is legal now. You can kill a goat or whatever. You can slaughter your goat in your backyard because the city council approved that, I think 4-3. But yeah, I mean, what happened is that the more liberal progressive city council wanted to make them, the minority feel comfortable. So the call to prayer, some of the Polish people were complaining about that. And they said, no, we want these people to feel at home and feel comfortable. And then they became the majority, and the progressives felt like they were being shit on by people who are now deciding that they should have a much more conservative thing to go.
So they got bought off 30 pieces of gold. And I think that what Trump doing with these ambassadorships, listen, he's rewarding folks that kissing his ass, that's loyal to him. Herschel Walker, he can't even read or write, and he's gonna be the ambassador to the Bahamas. This kind of shit. But you got professional people running these embassies, unless they start firing some of these professional folks like they doing every place else. It's like a shit show. So should all these people just be confirmed by the Senate, Eric?
For the ambassador, I mean, they have been, and they probably will be. There's not a single person that has been denied yet. The closest to being denied was the Department of Defense guy, and that was a tie vote that was broken by J.D. Vance, but everyone else made it through. Surprisingly, Patel made it through. Surprisingly,
Democrats unsold the positions before. They made $1 million or $10 million to the campaign.
Ambassadorships are gifts, as you say. I mean, you donate a lot of money to the campaign. Suddenly, it's like, what country do you want? I mean, these guys are going to go. These two Arab American mayors, who are really they're not bad people, but they decided to suck up to Trump, and now he had
Yemen is a shithole country.
Yeah,
that's what Trump said. It's a shithole country. Is in the midst of a civil war.
And here's a Hamtramck mayor who had to defend his defending of Trump when Trump said we're going to evict all the Palestinians from Gaza, and he was being attacked, and he said, well, look, I never said I agreed with everything he has, but look, he's joining an administration where that's the policy, at least for now. They're going to have to stand with Trump. They're not going to be able to say I disagree with him, because we just saw in New York the head of the New York FBI, who is a rising star, who probably was going to be the deputy director, he got booted out because he wouldn't do certain things that they want him to do, which are probably ethically questionable. That's the Trump way. It's like there's no discussion. So we're going to see that. And these ambassadors are going to have to toe the line, whatever the policy is.
Well, we're gonna take a break, come back, and continue conversation on Detroit in black and white.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Marlon Holt say he can't wait for us to be all Trump supporters. Hell will freeze over before.
Hey, there's Marlon. Hey, Marlon. Hey, can we go back up? Can we back up for a minute and talk about Dearborn Heights? I don't know.
Go ahead.
May I, or do you want me to wait?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know if you guys recall last summer, Bill Bazzi, who is the mayor of Dearborn Heights, they were at war with the city council over there over the police chief, Jared Hart, a guy that I'm familiar with. They eventually ran out, but the city council and the mayor were at war in Dearborn Heights. He might find Tunisia an easier place to handle than Dearborn Heights.
Well, it's been a hotbed of politics over there.
Yeah.
So I didn't weigh in about the ambassadorship. I noticed that there's some people on the panel talk about how people suck up to the president of the United States. I think they do it on both sides, and they give away these ambassadorships like they're lollipops. You know, hey, this is
lollipops.
Yeah, it's just a lollipop for you for, being supportive. So, I mean, are they going to be confirmed? Absolutely.
And where it's like when Carol Moseley Braun got defeated as a U.S. Senator out of Illinois, Clinton appointed her
Right.
ambassador to some little fucking country in the Caribbean. Democrats undone it. It's when they start, say Herschel Walker was made ambassador to Great Britain or Russia or someplace like that, then I would question, damn, what is Trump doing? But what they made him Jamaican.
Bahamas. He got a plum ambassadorship. He'd be in
Yeah,
Bahamas.
he'd be laying on the beach.
On the beach, right?
Yeah.
Or in the casino.
You have a seizure, like he go into a trance. There's something wrong with him. See, what is CTE? Brain dead or some shit. Listen. Trump is doing what Trump is doing, and we'll see how it works out. He's a scorched earth policy. Get rid of everything and then restock it with his loyalists.
But isn't this a great country? When a mayor of Dearborn Heights can get a lofty position like that, an engineer from Ford, when has that happened in history? So
right, or that Mayor Hamtramck who was last year killing goats in his backyard. Now he's a fucking ambassador. Shit.
And speaking of how things play out or work out, it's going to be interesting now that Garlin Gilchrist is in the governor's race. And I say that because, one of the biggest complaints from the Black community, be it Flint, Saginaw, Detroit, Muskegon Heights, Benton Harbor, is lack of Black representation. So I'm going to see how this play out with regards to having a qualified Black man running for governor.
Well, he's got to go out and earn some votes. And I like Garland as a person.
Alyssa Slockin didn't earn votes.
You got to put together some support and shit. And the first thing he did was praise the woman that threw him under the bus, that ran him over 8 times and said that lieutenant governor can't win. In other words, she put a halt to his fundraising effort. Where is he going to get the money?
So, Adolph, is it with what you're saying is, are you saying that you don't think he has a chance to prevail?
Everybody has a chance. You never know. Listen, You
Okay.
never know. I don't write off anybody because you
Okay.
can wait. You can go to bed 1 minute and think somebody
Like
lost.
the lights go out and somebody's elected an elected official. You're right.
Wait a minute, and you wake up and Jackie Curry and threw 10,000 votes in the Detroit River. Who
Right.
knows? You know, this is what they do. You know, but he has an uphill battle because they have checkmated him all the way. They tried to force him, the powers to be, to run for mayor, to put him, corner him. He didn't want to run for mayor. Stabenow say, I'm quitting, but instead of doing the right thing and letting Whitmer appoint somebody to her seat, she made sure that Alyssa Slocum got that shit because she wasn't budging. Her and Gary Peters, the most selfish motherfuckers that we done had in those offices.
Well, I have a question.
If you're gonna quit, quit. If you're not gonna run, give them an opportunity to make some appointments.
Right.
I would say I don't argue with your argument, but what if Debbie Stabenow was good friends with Alyssa Slotkin and said, well, maybe they worked together and said, I want you to, be
above board, and say, I talk to Whitmer and say, appoint her to the seat. I'm stepping down.
Yeah,
She got enough seniority. She's a senior citizen, senator out of Michigan.
Well,
all the state. Listen, I'm looking at Ohio. Governor Ohio told Trump to go fuck himself because I'm going to appoint my loyal lieutenant governor as the replacement for J.D. Vance because he's been loyal to me when we ran twice. But Whitmer, he can't win. The lieutenant governor can't win. But she needed him. She needed this nobody, because she called him a nobody, to run for the statewide office twice.
I agree with you. I agree. She should have backed him regardless of what his chances of winning. She should have shown loyalty to him. He's been with her. He's helped her win both times. He brought in votes from Detroit. She owed him something, and I think she's trying to be.
She ain't pay him. He's been too loyal.
Right.
Listen, he should have just went rogue on her ass after they got reelected.
And that's why I, made the point I made. This is the opportunity for the
kind of late, Eric. Kind of late.
No, I don't know. If he has time to galvanize various communities. I mean, people realize Grand Rapids in the last presidential election voted blue. Grand Rapids is one of the most conservative areas on the west side of the state.
But are they going to vote for him?
More. I think Grand Rapids is changing to becoming more blue.
But are they going to vote for him?
They may, what? There's a great possibility that they will vote for him. Listen, it's not as if this is a name that people are not familiar with. This is not as if this is a person that has not been in the community. This is a person as
John Cherry was a name.
John
Cherry was a name that people was familiar with.
But hold on a second. You just talked about how he was, I don't want to use the word use, but he ushered the governor into communities of which she wasn't, very popular. People didn't really know who she was. So those very same communities, I believe, would be very supportive of him because they are familiar with him. He knows what he's doing. He's been around. I just don't think you should count him out, even though you feel like it's late in the game.
He couldn't win as clerk.
Listen, my question to the panel is this.
He couldn't win as clerk.
Listen,
but that was a close race, though.
Woman on this panel, I'm going to ask you guys this: Why is it okay to support a man, to support a Caucasian man, to support Caucasian women to be in office, but when you're talking about someone that is brown, I prefer to use the word black, whether it be female or male, there's always, listen, you can only go so far. You can only be this. That's a problem for me. That is a problem.
It's a problem for a whole lot of
you guys.
It's a problem for a whole lot of people. And Garland saw it as a problem that people tried to pigeonhole him into running for mayor. He didn't want to run for mayor. I talked to him, and I'm like, good, go for it. Run for the governor. That's what you're supposed to do. If I was sitting there in the lieutenant governor's chair, I would want to run for governor too. There's no question about it. But it's like running a race. You got to make your move. Sometimes, if I'm running with you, Jim, me and you running partners, and you are the lead, I'm following you. Man, sooner or later, if I want to win, I'm a run past you or try to. I'm not going to wait till you move out the way and say, okay, it's your turn to cross the finish line first. It's like,
she didn't want him there.
No,
she did not. And Queen Bee hit the nail on the head when she said, Gretch wanted Jocelyn. Somebody wanted Jocelyn. Somebody picked Jocelyn. She's got quite a record. Timo says, or Timo.
What record does she have? What record does Jocelyn Benson has?
I'm talking about in the
private. I mean, my thing is this: when people if people want to give Gretchen Whitmer all this credit, I mean, you got the Negroes in Detroit calling her Big Gretch, buying her whatever you got them glasses. She did not do that alone. When you see a lot of the press releases, both his name and her name is on it. So for people to give her all this credit,
maybe
he was the governor, but then they want to disappear on him when he runs for governor. I mean, I think that I'm voting for Garlin Gilchrist.
Maybe I misspoke.
26.
She is the most connected Democrat in the race. How's that?
Oh well, and I agree with you on that because they made it. Sure, they made her connected.
But you know what? It's she's super ambitious. You know, Jocelyn Benson, I mean, you got to say, look, Garlin Gilchrist is a nice guy. He's a smart guy. But Jocelyn Benson is also smart. She was the head of the Wayne State Law Department. But she's ambitious as hell. And look, when you're as ambitious as hell, you know, you're going to do stuff that the nice guy is maybe he needs.
And you know what they do? You know what they do? Guess what they do? Guess what they do? Jocelyn Benson and Dana Nessel, they asked for Coleman Young the second endorsement when he was running for mayor, when they was running. And I said, don't give them no endorsements until they endorse you. He said, I know. And he's a nice guy. He endorsed them, wrote a letter and stuff. Now, when he needed endorsements, they ghost him.
But
they didn't say no. They ghost him.
But this is the thing. Allan, you're saying he's a nice guy, and then you say this woman is these women are ambitious. I think it takes ambition for him to run for governor. I think it takes ambition for him to run for clerk for the city of Detroit. So I have a huge problem.
He's more ambitious.
We're talking about sexism.
Actually, hold on, Allan. How's she more ambitious? Because
one at a time.
As qualified.
She knows how to play the game better.
People that are
one at a time. Allan, and then you, Eric. Go ahead, Allan.
No, I was going to say, she knows. Look, Gretchen Whitmer, she came from money. Her dad was the CEO of Blue Cross.
Big time Republican.
She was in the state legislature. She was prosecuting him. I'm not saying, look, she's fallen short. I mean, where's the damn roads? I mean, she still hasn't come through on some really key issues there. The legislation at the end of this past year was a mess. If she had really.
And she's a mess. She's a fucking mess. Eric, quickly before we take a break. Go ahead.
And not just that, with regards to ambition, you mentioned the law school. I mean, I've been involved in search committees at Eastern Michigan University. Being a dean of a law school, business school, is one of them things about who you know. I'm not impressed by her being dean of the law school with regards to saying that she's ambitious. They picked her because she was the one in the local area, and they wanted somebody local to run the law department at Wayne State.
So
okay, we're gonna take a break. come back and we'll continue this conversation. Detroit in Black and White, Jim Nardone, Vanessa Moss, Eric Brown, and Allan Lengel. I'm Adolph Mongo. Be right back.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure? Or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation. The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
Oh, welcome back. Vanessa, you had the last word. Go ahead.
The point that I want to make is this. Everybody that you're talking about in that race, I don't care how you feel about them personally, listen, every last one of them are qualified. Every last one of them is ambitious. So to me, when you start using language like, well, these women are ambitious and he's a nice guy, I have a problem with that, okay? Because he's just as ambitious as the rest. Qualified, yes. I don't care about, how Adolph, Allan, Jim, Eric feels about what these people who are elected officials have or have not done in office. The point that I'm trying to make is that just as qualified, just as ambitious, and that we need to be careful about how we portray things, in particularly when we're talking about people.
Well, when I want to address that. When you're talking, I'm not saying that he's not ambitious, but it's like, look, we can be in a workplace where we're ambitious and we want to do well, but there's somebody else who knows how to pull all the levers and play all the politics, and they get ahead of us. They may not be more competent than us, but they're more skilled politically at getting to where they want to get to. And that's, I'm not saying he's not.
It's like some of these people know how to kiss ass.
Well, whatever it is, they know how to get to where they
on the head.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying it's not a matter that Garlin Gilchrist, obviously, look, he's running for governor. That's pretty ambitious. He's run for office before. He's been successful as a lieutenant governor.
And let me say this, he's not a punk either, because people, wait a minute, people tried to talk him into running for mayor. How dare you tell me what I should do? That's not what I want to do. I don't want to run for mayor. I want to be the governor of the state of Michigan. And I think he gets a whole lot of credit and respect for that.
That don't mean that going to translate into
No,
winning.
it doesn't. But the point that I'm trying to make is the point that I've made is that, listen, you cannot bulldoze me and bully me and tell me what you think I should do.
Listen, he's his own person. He's his own person, and he has a right to run for whatever he want to run for. And he has a right to get his ass kicked like anybody else. It's just like in the old days where you had the machines, the Coleman Young machines, the McNamara machines, those kind of machines where they dictated to people that you can do, either you can run or you can't run and all that. And we don't have that anymore because you got people that'll jump in a race. That's why we got Mosquito. That's why we got Shree and all these other miscellaneous politicians that got elected because they diluted the vote. Allan,
I was going to say real quickly, I mean, we see people like Whitmore, we see Jocelyn Benson, how many times they've been on CNN, how many times they're on, in national platforms promoting themselves. And that's Garlin Gilchrist needs to promote himself more.
Yeah, listen, I agree with you on that. And I don't think that's in his DNA. He's a guy that's very competent.
Yeah.
He's smart and stuff. But this is a cutthroat profession where these people will cut their mama throat to get elected. cut their daddy, cut their brother, kill their wife, whatever, throw the baby out of the window, whatever they need to do to win. This is what some of these people would do,
And
So
Whitney Clark just made a great comment. If Teresa want to put that back up.
What is it?
Oh, he said the blacks here can only carry the water. They can't sit at the big table. Look at Vice President Harris, same deal.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think that we're being naive if we don't. And I know Allan disagrees with this position, but Jocelyn Benson worked for the Southern Poverty Law Center. She was the dean, or the law school dean. Her whole life, she's been preparing for this role, and she's been connected to the people that are going to put her in this role. And they probably, if she's elected, it'll be those people that decided. And it's not a knock on Garlin Gilchrist at all. I think he's a good candidate. I think they pick somebody else.
I think it's all for naught because Duggan threw a monkey wrench into the game. He's running as an independent. Benson needs every vote out of the city. And I'm looking at beyond the primary. Say she survived the primary, or if she survived the primary, Duggan is the wild card for whoever wins the Democratic primary. Now, I know that you don't count somebody like Garlin out, because in '98, working on a Fire campaign, listen, everybody said Fire dead in the water. He's crazy, can't win, nothing. He's just wasting his time. He promoting his law firm, and we won the nomination. Now, the whole party turned against him in the general election, but he did upset the apple cart, and we won the nomination. Nobody expected him to beat Larry on.
Adolph, he won that nomination with a lot of Republican voters crossing over to ensure he would be in the general election.
He won it over with Detroit. Detroit got him over. Republicans didn't get him over. Detroit and independents got Fire over in the primary. He was dead in the water come the general election. But so to answer Vanessa's concerns, yeah, you don't count Garlin out. You don't dismiss him because anything can happen.
Absolutely.
Anything.
I do have a question. I mean, look, I think Garlin Gilchrist, I think he's very smart. I think he'd make a great governor. But I have a question. Would you, if there were a white lieutenant governor in there doing basically the same job that he's doing, would you be as big an advocate for that person to win just because they're the lieutenant governor?
Yeah, because we had them in those positions. The only lieutenant governor that had any kind of chance, that was Milliken, and only because George Romney resigned his position as governor to go to D.C. to work for Nixon.
Right.
Well, it always been tight for a lieutenant governor to come back and replace somebody. It's like, damn. They like the vice president. How many vice presidents go on to become president?
But Milliken, Adolph, became the governor based on Romney going to D.C. Right. And he went on to become a very good governor of this state.
Yeah, because he built up a coalition of Democrats and moderate Republicans and stuff. Yeah. Milliken that's the first person I ever voted for governor was Milliken.
He was probably the last governor we've had who really was almost non-denominational. I mean, didn't really, it was everyone's governor. I knew a lot of Democrats Democrats who voted for Milliken because they just thought he was a good governor. They didn't care what party he was in. After that, Blanchard, Engler, it was just a lot more partisan.
They were sleaze balls.
Yeah, well.
They were fucking sleaze balls. That's all. You know.
And Blanchard's his sleazeballsness is what cost him the election when Coleman Young, he didn't get the support.
Well, because he didn't ask for he ran from the mayor. He ran from the mayor. They thought 4 years before, when Lucas ran for governor as a Republican.
As a Republican?
Yes, and all the Republicans didn't vote for Lucas. They went and voted for Blanchard. So Blanchard didn't think 4 years later he needed Detroit. He didn't need Coleman Young. But they all went home when Engler was the nominee. And that was Blanchard. That wasn't Coleman Young. He didn't want Coleman Young, and he didn't get Coleman Young. I sat there where he came and cried to the mayor and his appointees, say, I need your support the night before the election. Soon as he left the Manugian mansion, Coleman Young say, fuck Blanchard. We're not doing anything. That's just what he said. Yeah. And Blanchard lost by 19,000 votes statewide.
Wow.
That's enough votes on the east side somewhere that we would have campaigned for him.
Detroit, yeah, absolutely.
Reelected.
Yep, absolutely.
So yeah, it's a whole lot of factors goes into all this shit. But you don't count anybody out, but you don't try to force people's hands. Let the hand play out. Let Garlin Gilchrist run. Let him do what he's gonna do. Can he raise the money? Can he energize the folks in Detroit and Pontiac and all these other urban areas and stuff? Will he be a spoiler? Will he pull an upset? You know, who knows? But it's going to be an uphill battle for the Democrats come general election time, because you got Duggan sitting there. You're going to get a whole lot of votes. Not enough votes to win, I don't think. And then you got the Democrats, and then you got the Republicans. It's going to be interesting.
You know what? Jim wanted to say something about one of the viewers. He was reading one of the comments.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah,
We go to Allan.
Briefly, Timo said that he was talking about the most factual statement by this shit rag. I think he means our podcast, but yeah. I'd like to know exactly what he's talking about. If we said something factual, I'd sure like to know exactly what it is. So he needs to be more specific.
Yeah, thank you for watching this show. That clearly you like it because you watch it and you're making comments. Thank you. Hit that like button. Hit that like button and subscribe and share. And tell all your friends that don't like this show to watch this show and hit that like button.
We appreciate it.
There's no question. I don't give a fuck. You could like it or don't like it. You know, shit.
Well, he's accusing us of being factual.
Your fucking ass because you don't like it. You know, well, you can cut the shit off and go and watch Blue Bloods or some bullshit. Go ahead, Allan.
I was just say, look, up until now, Garlin Gilchrist, like every other lieutenant governor or most vice presidents, has had to take a back seat, has not been able to shine in the limelight. And look, Whitmer's not, I mean, if she were totally selfless, she would start really promoting him and pushing out there, but she's running for president. And so she's not gonna.
Why? Why?
Well,
because she can.
Yeah, that's.
Because
I mean,
can.
She's
because she's ambitious.
She is very ambitious. I mean, look, when you're running, she's had presidential aspirations for a long time, and she's, to her credit, she decided to finish up her terms when running. Where look,
they overplayed their hand, Allan. They thought they was gonna be going to DC and all this other shit.
Yeah.
And they didn't. We're gonna take a break and come back and continue the shit show that we got here. Detroit in black and white.
Hit that like button. Thanks, Timo. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Yeah, welcome back. Yeah, a whole lot of folks are gonna talk about running for president. We got another out of town guy that moved here with his husband and kid, Traverse City. What's his name? Booty Jess or whatever.
Buttigieg.
Yeah. He's talking about running for either the Senate or running for president. Which one is he suited for?
I think, Senate makes the most sense to, if you want to really, he's a young guy still. He wants to build up. And people say, oh, we'll never have a gay president, or, he can't run for Senate because he's gay or whatever. But I think people are more open-minded these days, but it's still
had a gay president.
I was just getting ready to say that. How we know we haven't had a gay president?
We had one.
Not outwardly.
Who was that?
Buchanan was a gay president. Lincoln slept with his law partner for 9 years.
Right.
Don't tell me they wasn't dilly-dallying under that bed. Shit. They were doing something. Shit.
Yeah. But I
He
think
should run for mayor of
I think the Senate is not as far a reach, and I think it builds up credibility. And he's young enough to build a resume before he tries for president.
So you don't think? So you think there is some kind of pecking order a person should go through it before they run for presidency? I'm asking you that, Allan.
I think it doesn't hurt. Look, Obama wasn't senator for that long, but he went from state senator to a U.S. senator. I think it helped his resume.
Jimmy Carter was a one-term governor.
You're going to ask everybody on the panel. Jim, what are your thoughts? Do you think?
Why are we back? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Do you think that you should run for a lower office before you run for you ascend to the presidency of the United States?
Well, you're talking about the presidency. I'm going to back down to the governorship. Then why aren't the Democrats supporting the lieutenant governor? Why did the governor fail the loyalty test? Do you want her working for your organization? She had a man that did everything he was supposed to do.
I swear.
And she walked away from him. I'm not hiring him for my company. It's a loyalty test. She has no loyalty. Okay. So we can give her all the credit for everything she's accomplished or hasn't accomplished, but you support the people that help you get there.
Ain't no question.
Do you feel that way? Do you think that he should?
You're supposed to, I took you to the dance. I'm leaving there, and I'm not taking somebody else home. Yeah, the bitch fucked up. She ran over. I
was talking about a T-shirt that says
over him.
I was talking about Pete. I don't know how we got there. And by the way, the comments that these people make, that we make on this show, belongs to those individuals. Eric, what about you?
Do we like them?
He should run for Senate and not run for
he already been in office. Peter, he's been a mayor. He's been a mayor.
You talking about Peter? Yeah, because his resume is not that great. He was a mayor of South Bend or Gary, one of them cities. South Bend. And then he became a transportation, something he was not qualified for. So no, I would not vote for him for senator or definitely not president.
Yeah, well, you can be. Jimmy Carter was a peanut farmer.
Right. I mean, you got
Lester Maddox got elected governor of Georgia because he took an axe and chased black folks out of his restaurant because he had a black cook, but he didn't want to serve black people.
Right.
Listen, Donald Trump never held office before.
Exactly. That was my point. That's why I asked that question. Listen,
I said Donald Trump. You didn't hear me.
Yep.
Donald Trump is my example.
Yep. Whitney Clark makes a point. He said Pete is going to get what he wants. He fits the mold for the party.
Yeah, Pete's gonna get what he wants.
He does.
He might get what he wants from his husband, but he ain't getting to be president. Shit, that's all. Yeah, what, Alan?
I was going to say real quick, when we talk about ambition and self-promotion, Trump, there's no bigger self-promoter. He could sell you Trump steaks, Trump vodka, and he sold Trump presidency. And that's what
And a Trump Bible. Don't you have a Trump Bible at your house?
He's floating around in front of Allen. He's got it.
Absolutely. He reads it every day.
Oh yeah. But no, I mean, it's, a lot of it's self-promotion. These people are great self-promoters.
If P.T. Barnum was still, like he said, there's a sucker born every minute. 75 million suckers was born last year when they voted for this motherfucker. Shit. So yeah, P.T. Barnum was right. There's a sucker born every minute, and if he was alive, he might be president. Shit, hey, that's the way the game is played. Shit, can't get upset. And what they say, don't get upset with the player. Shit, this is how the game is. This is how they play the game. And we'll see how it's the 6 months when they start the midterms. We'll see if people are so upset about losing their jobs in DC, et cetera, that they're going to kick some of these Republicans out of office that's in Congress and give the Congress back to the Democrats so they can be split. We'll see. Or people are going to say, well, business as usual. Can't change anything. You just accept it.
And Derrick Henry talking about Wallace winning Michigan in 68. Romney was the governor in 68 in Michigan.
Yeah, but Wallace won the president Democratic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure he meant to say.
The Democrats changed how the primary was run because they didn't want that to happen anymore. Because listen, they always change the rules of shit. It's like when they kept Obama, Granholm and them kept Obama off the ballot in the primary when he was running for president.
People forget about that. Granholm, Donna Brazile,
Dingle,
Austin Schultz.
Yeah, all of them. Debbie Dingle, John Dingle, all of them. McNamara, all the shit. That's the name of the game. That's how they played. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. This is going to be an interesting year. Mayor's race. It hasn't heated up yet.
No.
What are we expecting in the mayor's race? Is it going to be boring, or is it going to get hot, and we're going to have dirt slung all over the place?
I think they're already slinging dirt. You see
Solomon Kenlock, that dirt was weak.
Yeah.
I mean, they will get dirtier, but that article on Solomon Kenlock was very weak.
I think right now, I think it's anyone, not anyone can win it, but the top tier 3-4 candidates. I think I don't think Mary Sheffield has it wrapped up. I saw Taylor Jenkins doesn't have it wrapped up. I don't, certainly, the councilman Fred Durhal doesn't have it locked up, but I think, look, Dan Gilbert is going to put his money behind, he's already put it behind Mary Sheffield. I don't know.
He can't vote though.
Yeah, no, he can't vote. But so far, it's not a done deal. I don't see anyone running away with it at this point.
Well, actually, he put his money behind a couple people, which is smart money. So it wasn't just for her. He gave to Rock Ventures, gave to the Durhal campaign as well. So, and what's going to be very interesting, and we did this purposely for the Juneteenth event. We are having the literacy panel right before we have the candidates panel for mayor. And we did that purposefully because, again, Adolph, you said that I think recently, if they're not talking about literacy in the city of Detroit, there's no way in hell we'll vote for any of them. No way. I just wouldn't.
You know what? To your point, Eric, I saw, I don't know if you guys read, there was a interview that Pastor Kinlock did with, I think it was Axios. I saw I told you I was at an event where one of the candidates was speaking. They're now talking, now I should say now, but quite a few of them are talking about education. Pastor Kinlock says that, hey, you're going to have to work closely with the mayor. Basically, you're saying the mayor should not take over the school district, but you should work closely with the school
Mayor
district.
should take over the school district.
Jenkins basically said the same thing when she was on our show. Fred Durhal did talk about it. So they are talking about it, and I believe they're talking about it because they heard you talking about it, Adolph. I think these people watch your show. Watch our show. I think they respected the opinions of the panelists on this show. And that is a real issue.
Well, Fred Durhal told me after, the show when he was on, he said that he was prepared for the education question because his wife told him that I was going to be asking it. It was definitely going to get asked. So, yeah, they are watching the show, and it's important that they do. I mean, Mary Sheffield would be on here, what 29th?
Right. And Perkins is going to come on the show as well.
Yeah.
Not that same day. We're just trying to get a date for him.
I think the education thing is a very interesting and important component, but I want to hear specifics. It just the mayor taking over the education isn't going to be a selling point unless they say, here's what I would do and have a plan. And I haven't heard anybody come there like, yeah, okay, yeah, I like the mayor. Let's have the mayor take over. But to me, one of the also a very important thing is management skills. It's running
there's a game plan. There's always been a game plan of what they could do with these schools.
Yeah,
and you got to improve these schools. You got buildings that need to be torn down. Or listen, we got kids that's in buildings. The swimming pools ain't worked in 20 years. They got no phys ed, no art, no music, no nothing. It don't take a genius to figure out how you improve education in the city of Detroit. There's no question about it.
It's a plan, though. We can talk in broad sweep.
Well, you're gonna have to start somewhere. You get a better education in a fucking one-room schoolhouse than you get in fucking Detroit.
I'm laughing, but you're absolutely correct. I mean, really, the way things are looking. Listen, if they're going to dismantle the Department of Education and have it turned back to the states, I agree. I don't know if it was you, Eric. I was talking about how back in the day, Black folks were educated in one room and they turned out very, very good products. So I agree with you, Adolph. It has to be not just a part of the conversation. There does have to be a plan, but it has to start somewhere. Somewhere is the conversation, because previously, the last mayoral election, they didn't talk about education.
No, they didn't.
Before that, they didn't talk about education. And we've had the same problem for 30-something years. Don't get me
50 years, over 50 years.
I'm saying 30-something years. Don't get me talking about the education system and how we're just passing people along, even through higher education.
Well, we're going to have a whole show.
I would like to say let me say something real quick, and I don't know if this is whatever, but I'd love to see the University of Michigan, Harvard, Princeton, whatever, do a study and come here and do a study and talk to people and put together a concrete plan how to improve our education.
Well, that means that nothing gonna get done.
Well,
that's all it is.
If you put a bunch of students and you make that their project, I think you come up with some innovative stuff.
Maybe not. Final thought, Allan.
Well, that would be my final thought. I mean, we can be dismissive and say, but I've seen where students come in and they take that on as a project, and I think they take one school and use it as
gotta do more than one school. Go ahead.
I'm saying start with a prototype and then spread that out to all the schools.
Yeah.
I think David hit it right. Day, Howard, Queen Bee, thank you for all your contribution tonight. I just want to say thanks to everybody for contributing and make this show really good. I love it.
Okay, the shit show. Eric.
I just want to invite people out again Saturday, Wayne County Community College, Northwest Campus. The topic of conversation, let's talk about it, education and solutions to a very fixable problem, 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m.
Vanessa.
Listen, I want to say a couple of things. One, I want to thank all of our viewers of Detroit Black and White. We appreciate you joining us, and we appreciate you joining in the comments. We want you to watch us on Friday evening at 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. and then again on Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 11 o'clock p.m. I also want to give a shout out. This is Women's History Month, and we have not talked about that. And what is this, day 12? I want to give a shout out to somebody who works behind the scene to help make this show go, and that would be to Lady T. Thank you so much for contributing to Detroit Black and White. Detroit Black and White is not just these 5 people that you see on screen. We have somebody to help makes this thing work. So I want to give her a shout out. Women rock. We have women running for office. We run things. Thank you so much, and we will see you again on Friday evening.
Well, I appreciate it, Jim, Allan, Eric, Vanessa, Teresa. Thank you very much. We'll be back on Friday and Saturday. This is Detroit in Black and White. I'm Adolph Mongo. And to all those who like to sit in and talk shit, keep it up.
That's right.
Because that's what we do.
I can dish it out and I can take it too.
I know that's right, and so can I.
When is Men's History Month, Vanessa?
Huh?
When is Men's History Month?
Bye, Eric.
Goodbye.